We have no idea whatsoever where she is, despite our best efforts.
That's the Charlottesville Police Chief Timothy Longo talking about the Hannah Graham case. And the new developments there are considerable and many, and it's a good day to have Jonna Spilbor with us. Jonna, of course, is an attorney and legal analyst. You see her all the time on TV. Jonna, good morning.
Good morning, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're always pleased to have you. Okay, so look, we got this suspect. His name is Jesse Matthew. He was found in Texas. He's waiving his any battle against extradition. He's going to be on his way back to Virginia for some questioning. What happens next in this investigation?
Okay, well, it's a good thing that he's waiving his extradition rights because he really doesn't have any. All Texas wants to know is whether this person that they have in custody is Jesse Matthew, and it is. So once he gets back to Virginia, he's going to be appointed a lawyer, and that's when this show gets on the road, Brian. He's going to have to enter a plea because so far, Jesse Matthew has conducted himself in a very strange way. But he hasn't entered any plea in Texas because he hasn't committed any crime in Texas as far as we know. He'll enter his first plea when he gets back to Virginia, and I guarantee it'll be a not guilty plea.
All right, and then what happens?
All right, so then once his lawyer gets appointed, he's going to have to decide relatively quickly what he wants to do with Jesse. And here's the interesting thing. Right now, there is no body. Okay, but I don't want to sound all doom and gloom. The chances of Hannah Graham being alive, very, very slim. So are they going to charge Jesse Matthew when he gets to Virginia with the abduction with intent to defile, which is what he's charged with now, or are they going to additionally charge him with something else, i.e. murder? Now, remember this. I don't know if you guys do remember Scott Peterson, a case about 10 years ago. It was huge. It was a husband accused of killing his pregnant wife at Christmas time. They charged him with murder before they ever found her body. They shortly found it thereafter. So is it possible to charge Jesse Matthew with murder even if they don't find Hannah Graham? Yes, it is.
And that, of course, will be based on evidence that they either find in his apartment, in his car, or also eyewitness accounts, right?
Precisely. But I don't think they have that much evidence yet, Larry. I know that the sheriff was talking about they have some forensics from his car, but they're being very tight-lipped about it.
So, Jonna Spilbor, setting that aside for a minute, because when I see these stories, my God, I have a daughter, a little bit younger than Hannah Graham, but my gosh, I just see those parents and the anguish they must be going through. This guy knows something. We know he knows something. He came and volunteered that he knew something, and then the next thing you know, he's on a beach in Galveston on the run. What can the police and the district attorneys do here, short of offering him some sort of get-out-of-jail-free card to get the information? What can they do to get something from him?
Nothing, other than what you just said. If he knows more, and if it's possible that he could, I don't know, face elevated charges, he might want to strike a deal so that he doesn't spend the rest of his life behind bars, for example, although if Hannah Graham has been killed, the chances of them striking a deal with him will be very slim, except that they want the body. They want to give the parents some closure if, in fact, she's been murdered. So that is his only choice. Otherwise, the truth is he doesn't have to say a word. And since he hasn't been charged with murder, he could go in and plead guilty to kidnapping or whatever other lesser charges that they have him charged with right now, fulfill his sentence and walk out the door before they ever find a body. That's the tricky part in this. We have to find Hannah Graham.
All right, so there was some enterprising reporting done down there on a website. Somebody decided instead of tracking what Hannah Graham was doing that night, they would go and see if they could find out more about what Jesse Matthews was doing that night. And what they found was really eye-opening. That they found that this guy was a person who didn't have much in the way of social boundaries. He didn't respect other people's space. They talk about how he followed some women around and was touching them, and at one point picked them up. At one point, a woman took off her boot because her feet were hurting, and he reached over and took off her sock. I mean, there were all of these little signs that he did not respect the boundaries, the normal social boundaries that one has. What do you draw from that?
Well, you know what women call that, Brian? We call that he was a creep.
Well, in fact, one woman used that very word.
Yeah, that's exactly what that behavior connotes. And, is it sort of consciousness of guilt? Is it evidence of guilt? perhaps there's a new report this morning that Jesse Matthew was a suspect but never charged in a 2002 rape. So is he that kind of creepy guy? And this time he met up with Hannah, who the reports say could have been drunk at the time. Was she's partying? You're allowed to do that. Did he hook up with her and she was unable to thoroughly defend herself or get out of his way? That's quite possible.
So now, where does it? What do you think the timing is going to be like on something like this, Jonna Spilbor? My understanding is investigators are in Texas now so that they can help participate in the search warrant of the car, and the extradition, as you said, has been waived. So this guy comes back. How quickly will things move?
Very quickly, because whenever somebody's charged with a felony, and like I said, even though there's no murder charges on the table, the abduction charge is also a felony. So every state has strict time limits. In fact, he'll probably be back in Virginia within 10 days.
Oh.
At the outset.
One other. Oh, sorry. We're running out of time, and I just remembered one other question I wanted to ask. This abduction with intent, intent to defile. How do they reach the intent charge there? What kind of evidence? Obviously, they haven't talked to him. So, what kind of evidence could they have that led them to that charge that concludes some kind of intent?
I can only surmise that whatever they found in his car, I can surmise that perhaps they found some of her clothing, maybe some clothing that normally you wouldn't find in a car if it remained on your body, panties, for example, or a bra, maybe something to that effect. So I think that's the only thing they really have, and a little bit of the forensic evidence, but they're being so closed-mouthed about it. I don't know if it's blood. I don't know if it's some other bodily fluid. But, they don't think that they simply went for a walk because they were trying to get from point A to point B. Authorities think that he was trying to have a relationship with Hannah Graham.
All right. Jonna Spilbor, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Such a sad case. We'll follow it
Really
closely.
is.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.